Tartaria. The tunnel did not look like a tunnel. At least not in the ordinary sense. There were no stone walls, no steel supports, no dripping pipes like the subway tunnels beneath New York or London. Instead, the wizard and his crew stepped into a corridor of faint blue light that curved gently like the inside of a seashell. Nikola Tesla walked ahead with his usual quick stride, his coat moving as if stirred by a breeze that no one else felt. "Remarkable," he murmured. "The geometry is resonant. The walls are not merely boundaries. They are conductors." Robert the wizard adjusted the satchel of instruments on his shoulder. Inside were the tools the team had been collecting for months during their research expeditions. A thermal camera. A handheld spectrum analyzer. A laser range finder. A little box of copper electrodes that someone insisted might detect telluric currents. Jessica Jones, the expedition's huntress and field scout, looked around carefully. "So," she said, "this is the famous time tunnel." Lyra's voice echoed softly through the air. She wasn't physically present, but her holographic avatar floated above them like a quiet constellation. "Yes," she said. "Temporal coordinate lock achieved. Destination appears stable." Homer Simpson squinted suspiciously at the glowing corridor. "Does this place have beer?" he asked. No one answered. The tunnel opened suddenly. The crew stepped forward and the light dissolved into sunlight. They were standing on a broad avenue paved with stone that fit together so precisely that not even a sheet of paper could slip between the joints. Before them stretched a city. Not ruins. Not abandoned. Alive. Copper domes gleamed above graceful buildings whose towers seemed to breathe with the wind. Tall arcades lined the streets, and between them ran channels of clear water that moved silently along polished stone. The air hummed. Not loudly. But steadily. Tesla stopped walking. "Ah," he said quietly. "There it is." "What is?" asked Robert. "The power system." At first no one else could hear it. Then gradually the hum resolved into something more complex. Multiple tones. A chord. Like a giant musical instrument playing beneath the city. The lamps along the avenue stood tall lamp posts made of brass and glass. They glowed with a steady white light even though the sun was already shining. Jessica inspected one of them. "No wires," she said. "No gas lines either," Robert added. Tesla placed his hand against the base of the lamp. "The current is very small," he said. "But continuous. Plant microbial cells?" Robert guessed. "Possibly," Tesla replied. "Or atmospheric capture." Lyra projected a data overlay above the lamp. "Electrical potential detected. Source appears distributed through ground network." Homer tapped the lamp post. "So it's like a giant battery?" "More like a symphony," Tesla corrected. The water channels, they followed the sound of moving water. The streets sloped gently toward a central plaza where fountains rose from circular basins carved with geometric patterns. The water glowed faintly in the sunlight. Robert crouched beside the channel and dipped a sensor into the flow. "Temperature stable," he said. "About 22 degrees Celsius. District heating system," Tesla said immediately. "From what source?" Jessica asked. Tesla pointed toward the edge of the city where a tower shaped like a spiral shell rose above the rooftops. "Probably that." Lyra zoomed her projection toward the tower. "Large thermal reservoir detected underground," she reported. Homer looked at the flowing water. "So you're telling me the whole city has hot showers?" Robert grinned. "Looks like it." The stone they walked past a construction yard where workers were shaping blocks of pale limestone. Except the stone was not being cut. It was growing. A lattice of metal rods extended through shallow pools of seawater that had been pumped inland from the coast. Around the rods a white mineral crust was forming slowly, layer by layer. Jessica stared. "Virock," she whispered. Tesla nodded. "Electro-mineral accretion. Wolf Hilberts would have enjoyed this." Robert took notes. "So structures grow instead of being quarried." "Correct," Tesla said. "And the process consumes little energy." One of the workers waved at them cheerfully. He looked completely ordinary. Except he was nearly 8 feet tall. Homer blinked. "Okay," he said slowly. "That's new." The brewery eventually the crew reached a marketplace filled with the scent of roasted grains. Homer's eyes lit up. Finally, inside a stone hall stood rows of copper vats bubbling gently. A brewer wearing a long apron greeted them. "Welcome travelers," he said. "Would you like to try the city's amber brew?" Homer raised both hands. "Yes." Tesla examined the brewing equipment with interest. "These vessels are heated with the district water system," he observed. The brewer nodded. "Correct. Waste heat from the city grid." Robert lifted a mug. "Energy efficiency," he said. Jessica tasted the drink. "Not bad." Homer chugged his. "Definitely Tartarian technology," he announced. The resonant towers. As evening approached, the crew climbed a hill overlooking the city. From there they could see the entire grid. Copper domes. Water channels. Stone buildings arranged in precise geometric patterns. Tesla drew a diagram in the dust. "Equilateral triangles," he said. "Golden ratios," Robert added. Lyra displayed a rotating hologram of the city's layout. "Acoustic resonance nodes detected," she reported. "What does that mean?" Jessica asked. Tesla gestured toward the tallest dome in the center. "That structure is not merely architecture. It is a resonator." The hum of the city grew slightly louder as the sun began to set. Wind moved across the copper surfaces of the domes and the sound shifted into a deeper tone. "Atmospheric energy," Robert said softly. "Coupled with the Earth circuit," Tesla nodded. "Exactly." Wonder. For a long time the crew stood quietly watching the city lights appear. None of the systems were explained. Not fully. But fragments of understanding flickered between them. Plant energy. Soil batteries. Resonant structures. Water heating networks. Mineral-grown stone. All the scattered ideas from 1,000 forgotten experiments seemed to echo here in practical form. Lyra spoke gently. "Perhaps the lesson is not that this civilization possessed magic. Perhaps they simply learned to cooperate with natural energy flows." Homer raised his empty mug. "Yeah," he said. "And they also figured out the beer part." Everyone laughed. "The wizard's reflection," Robert the wizard wrote in his notebook. "Not every system needs to be reinvented from nothing. Sometimes knowledge is scattered like seeds through time." A little in Tesla's notebooks. A little in fringe experiments. A little in old maps. A little in forgotten engineering papers. Maybe the future is not about discovering entirely new energy. Maybe it is about remembering how to use the energy already flowing through the world. The city hummed quietly beneath the stars. And the crew wondered what other forgotten places might still be waiting inside the tunnels of time. If you want, the next chapter could get even more interesting. We could explore The underground power chamber of Tartaria, where the crew discovers the central energy engine of the city and realizes it might be connected to Schumann resonances, telluric currents, atmospheric electricity, and Tesla-style resonant transmission.